Hello everybody, it's Nomad Jim here, and today I'm going to talk to you about how much it cost me to live here in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia during a 30-day period. I decided I would keep track of all of my expenses over the last 30 days while I've been here in KL and see what it comes to. How much does it really cost me to live here? So that's what I'm going to share with you today. So I'm going to break it down by 6 different categories: accommodations, restaurant and delivery of food, groceries, transportation, communications, and just miscellaneous expenses. And I think you're going to be very surprised by how much it actually cost me to live here in KL for the 30-day period I was looking at. I certainly was surprised by it. So a couple things to keep in mind before I get into the details. First, I'm going to give you the cost in US dollars, but I'm also going to show on the screen conversions into several different currencies. But keep in mind that those conversions are as of June 2025. So if you're watching this video sometime later, then those conversion rates may be quite a bit different. So keep that in mind. The other thing to keep in mind is these are my expenses, the way that I live, and the way that you live may be quite a bit different. You may spend a lot more than me in certain areas, or you may spend less than me in certain areas as well. So these are my costs. Your costs may vary. So the first category I'm going to look at is accommodations. And where I'm staying at here in KL is an Airbnb apartment. And it happens to be located just outside the center city area, the KLCC area. It's in Ampang Park, so it's a really great location. And as you can imagine, that's going to affect the cost. A few other things that are really nice about here is that it's within a 5-minute walk of 3 different major grocery stores, which is something that's really important to me to be close to. Also, KLCC Park is just a 10-minute walk away. And that's a great place for me to go in the mornings or in the evenings to do the fast-paced walk that I like to do for exercise. Also, just 3-minute walk from my apartment building is the Ampang Park MRT and LRT station. So both of these lines intersect at Ampang Park. So I can go in 4 different directions from that station. That it's just 3 minutes from my apartment building. So very great location for getting around by public transportation around KL. So really great location, and as I said, I'm paying more for it as a result. So the total cost that I pay for a 30-day period in this Airbnb apartment is $1,095. And yes, you can definitely get cheaper accommodations here in KL than what I'm paying. But as I said, I'm paying for the great location and the connectivity to the city, the public transportation, and all of that. So it's a little more than what you might expect here in KL. But that's how much I've paid during a 30-day period while I've been here in this apartment. The next category is restaurants and food delivery. So a couple things to know about me is that, one, I don't cook all that much. So I'm eating out at restaurants most of the time. The second thing to know about me is that I only eat 2 meals a day. I have breakfast in my apartment, and then I have a late lunch at a restaurant someplace, or I have food delivered by Grab Food or Food Panda or one of those types of services. So that's how I'm generally eating as far as restaurants and food delivery goes. So the total amount for that, and this also would include things like going to coffee shops as well. So it's restaurants, coffee shops, food delivery, and that comes to a total of $377. So a lot less than I thought it was going to be. I thought it would be a lot more than that. But during the 30-day period, that's what I paid. The next category is groceries. Now, I don't cook that much, so I'm not buying a lot of groceries to make dinners and things like that for myself. There are a few things that I do buy to help supplement some of the things that I get from food delivery. So I might buy some vegetables and things like that that I can add into the things I'm getting delivered to me. And also I buy fruits and nuts and milk and cereal and things like that that I can have for breakfast. So those are the kind of things that I'm generally going to be getting for groceries. So looking at that for the 30-day period, the total came to $248. And once again, I was surprised by that. I really thought it would be more than that. So the next category is transportation. Now, I don't drive a car, I don't rent a car while I'm here. I either use public transportation or I use a service like Grab, which is the Southeast Asia version of Uber. So those are the only ways that I'm getting around. So what I've spent money on with respect to transportation is, one, I bought a touch and go card. And that's a card that enables me to ride on the LRT, MRT, monorail, the bus system throughout KL and the Klang Valley. And also, I have one expense for taking the KLIA Express train from the airport to KL Central. So that's another expense that I had when I first arrived here. And then, of course, all of the different Grab rides that I've had over the course of the 30-day period as well. They're pretty inexpensive, pretty much to get anywhere that I can't get by public transportation. So the total for the transportation costs for the 30-day period was $81. So not that bad. The next category is communications. Now, I don't use a SIM card while I'm here. Instead, I use my service from back in the US, Google Fi. And if you want to know a little more about the options available to you with respect to phone and internet while you're traveling, and to see why it is that I use Google Fi, you can click on the video above, and I explain all of that information in that video. But it is a little more expensive than other ways of perhaps getting phone and internet service, but I really like it because it's so seamless. When I arrive in a new country, it just works. I don't have to mess around with finding a SIM card or doing anything extra. It just happens. It's very seamless and I love it. So that's the way I use it. But it is more expensive, as I said. It costs $70 a month for me. And then the other communications thing that I have in this category is about my virtual mailbox in the US. I have a virtual mailbox to handle any physical mail that I may receive back in the US. And if you want to know more about virtual mailboxes or other options available to you as far as managing your mail while you're traveling, then you can click on this video above and I talk more about that. Now, the virtual mailbox that I use currently costs me $10 a month. So the total for communications, for Google Fi, and for this virtual mailbox, the total is $80 for a month. And the final category is kind of a catch-all miscellaneous category. So these are things that are maybe I buy some shampoo or something like that at the pharmacy, or I got a haircut at one point. Just little things that I do for entertainment or whatever during this 30-day period. And the total for all these other miscellaneous expenses that aren't accounted for in any other categories comes to $103. So that's the total for the 30-day period for all those catch-all items. So now it's time for the grand total. So if I add up the total costs that I spent during the 30-day period for accommodations, for restaurant and food delivery, for groceries, for transportation, communications, and miscellaneous expenses, the total comes to $1,984, less than $2,000 for the 30-day period. I was really surprised. I thought it was going to be a lot closer to $3,000. So this really surprised me how much I spent over this 30-day period. And it's not like I'm skimping or anything like that. I mean, I'm staying in a rather expensive apartment. I'm eating the foods that I like to eat. I'm doing the things that I like to do. And I'm able to stay under $2,000 during a month's period living here. So I think that's really great. I was very surprised and very happy about that. So I hope you enjoyed hearing how much it costs me to live here in KL during a 30-day period. And hopefully that'll help you in figuring out how much it might cost you to do the same thing. What did you think about this breakdown of my cost? Did anything surprise you? Share your thoughts down below. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, let's get out there and travel.